right, guys, I'm gonna try to keep this short. This is like take number 6 or so, but I need to get this off my chest. It's so fucking annoying with dealing with people that are so dumb and so obtuse about this that it's just aggravating me to a point where I almost want to fucking ditch social media again. I'm not talking about YouTube, but just in general. When you read the drivel and the dumbassery that's out there in this hobby, it is toe curling. And you could debate, well, what makes you better than anyone? Because I can tell you why. I fucking read. I fucking understand basics. And when I have people interacting with me, telling me that the quality of my system is not good enough or not revealing enough to show off a $34,000 DAC, that irks me a little bit, especially when they are producing photographs of their system of having a $30,000 speaker flat against a back wall with a huge dresser blocked next to it, and they sit literally over here off axis listening to their rig and then telling me about quality, or you for that matter. So, to be honest with you guys, it is simple. If you cannot even muster the knowledge or the time to understand that there are certain basics that you adhere to with this hobby, you need to have space. Space is your biggest gain, all right? When you set up a pair of speakers, give them as much space as you possibly can. Now, do not get me wrong. I know a lot of people have room issues and room challenges. This is no different. When you come in here, you will hear some reflections, which is a nice thing. You don't want it to be too dead. There's a lot of videos out there about acoustics and acoustic treatment and diffusion versus absorption. There's a lot of things you can read. Because you know what, guys? This is the worst part of it all. When you walk into those type of postings, the information is free. But you have these so-called elder, and it's always the older ones. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any of you. The older ones that have been 45 years in this hobby, and I'm going to tell you, you little snot nose, of how it's done. And then they post a picture of a system that I had as a teenager. That doesn't mean that you're less than me. That doesn't mean that you have a worse system than me. It could sound phenomenal for all I know. But when you use some logic and some application of the information and knowledge that you can gather, that makes no sense. That makes no fucking sense, okay? You're talking about quality and about sonic quality, and then I show something like this that I don't like showing it off too much because it draws a lot of attention, this type of stuff. And then they go, oh, you're just showing off. Well, you're the one showing me pictures of your system that clearly is not on par with anything I have. That is not a monetary thing. That is an observation thing. When your speakers are flat against the wall, in corners, you sit off axis with your wiggly toes in the picture frame, listening on an angle to some cornet speakers. And that's your fucking reference. Look, my point with all this is, guys, stop with the dick measuring thing. Stop with the eye candy bullshit. Stop with your bullshit in general and do some fucking reading. You can learn so much. You can learn more by getting off your ass, not being on the phone and typing L-long paragraphs and move a pair of speakers forward and backwards. That's where you start to learn shit. That's where you start to hear differences. The true weakest link in any fucking system, to me, and this is just proof in the pudding with the cherry on top, is fucking you. You yourself, you're the weakest link in any system. These things just exist. That's all they do. This stuff just exists. All this stuff, even the oldest component in here, which are the speakers, ironically, will exceed your hearing by a large margin. You can try to sell your bullshit all day long as some form of Valhalla fact, and that you've gathered that over 40 years of sitting in your little audio cave listening to fucking Steely Dan reruns. That's not knowledge. You want knowledge? Use your fucking phone for more than fucking porn and start reading something. Start going back to basics. How many times I have had surprises with setting up a speaker? And mind you, this room has seen over 100 pairs of speakers, all in segments that most people will give a left nut for. Your ears do not hear price. Your ears don't give a fuck about your nostalgia. Your ears don't give a fuck about brand. Your ears only care about the fact, hey, does something like this coexist with something like this? Does that work? And if not, what should I do to get to that next step? You're not relevant in that. You could sit here and hear different things than I do. Our ears are differently shaped. It's that fucking critical. All you have to do is do this. Go sit in front of your system. Don't even flap them forward. Just put your hands behind your ears and listen then. How much difference did you get all of a sudden? So it's so nuanced and so little that it takes to hear something different. How can you sit there pretending that you have all the wisdoms in the back of your pocket, but you can't even figure out that this entire thing works differently for everybody? I can have the exact same setup as you, and it might sound like shit in here because of my room. Here's another thing, complacency, that a lot of people don't talk about. I used to have those speakers. I got kind of bored with them. They didn't sound as good anymore. Hold up, you said anymore. So you bought the speakers, and they were great. You listened to them. And I'm not using this as an example. I'm just using anything that you had. They were still just as good as the first day that you listened to them. The problem is you. You got complacent to the sound of them, and you got bored. That's the problem. So when you come out there with your fucking 55 years of wisdoms, which are in fact just purely emotional rants, read something, man. You're never too old to learn. Go back to some basics. Go shove some speakers forward and back and tell me again how that doesn't make a fucking difference. It does make a difference. And especially telling me, or anyone else for that matter, that you have the quality in the pocket that I don't understand. Show me something more than your shit being cornered and you sitting off axis under an angle. This is one of many examples. I've had this all the time in discussions. And you really can't hold yourself up in a normal fucking talk or discussion. That there is the problem, guys. So here is my take on it all. I know it's a little bit of a rant video, but you know, the weakest link, it's you, it's us. We're the weakest links. This stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with this. There you go.